Uh-oh. I think I went live. It's not supposed to go live yet. Yeah, I think I started the live stream early. Whoever that is who's here, sorry. I'm getting things going, but it's going to be another 15-ish, 10, 15 minutes until I actually have it going. We're going to be making major maple breakfast sausage seasoning today. So, we're going to do that. And then I brought all the stuff for breakfast sandwiches. I'm going to make a bunch of breakfast sandwiches. We'll feed them to people tomorrow morning. You guys can see how they are. For you, those of you who are just popping on now, my bad. I started the live stream early, but I can, I guess, pretty much get going. It was supposed to start at 7:30, but the go live button's very small at the bottom and very hard to see. So, yep, it definitely is live. That's not great. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. So, let me grab my pork butt and we'll get started. So hopefully everyone's done some good American stuff on Memorial Day today. It's a very important day for all sorts of veterans and veteran families. So I hope you guys got some time to reflect on what this day actually means. Oh, coming from a military family myself, it's very important. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start sanitizing everything. This is usually what I do before you guys get here. So I'm going to use Maxim Hard Surface Sanitizer. This is a no rinse 60-second sanitizer. So I'm going to spray every surface that my meat is going to touch. We can just let it sit for 60 seconds, and that is going to help prevent the growth of any bacteria, and just in general, keep our food safer longer. Now, with a fresh sausage like what we're making today, we're making breakfast sausage, it's very important. It is not as important as when we're making, say, and I got a glove up too, as when we're making something like the dry cured pepperonis or whatever that we've been making a lot of recently. Those are extremely important that we sanitize everything. I'm going to try and get a laptop situated here somewhere so I can see the chat. One of the things I've been working on the last couple of live streams is doing a better job at interacting with chat. So, let me just figure out where I can park this so it's not in the shot too much, but I can see what you guys are talking about. Because Old Man John is getting blind. Harder and harder for me to see all the time. Don't know what I just did there, but something. Ruben Solalo said hi, but I don't see it on this, so I will just pop this here and try and keep my other phone on it. For drinks today, I have one of my all-time favorite beers. This is Guldendrach. It is a Belgian, and it is best drink slightly warm. Then we've got just some party drinks, some Topo Chicos, pineapple tropical. So we're gonna have a few drinks, make a few breakfast sausage patties, and then cook everything up on our griddle and have a good time. Drop some stuff too. We're definitely going to drop some stuff. That absolutely is going to happen. All right. So like I was saying earlier, hopefully everyone took some time today for Memorial Day and got to reflect on what this day is actually about. And surprisingly, it's not sales. So if you come from a military family, it's an important day for you. And hopefully you realize that everybody does appreciate the sacrifices. All right, so our grinder and our cutting surface are now sanitized. We're going to spray some white oil down into the grinder plate and down the throat to help lubricate the plate and knife. And then we're going to spray just a little bit more around the tray to make everything easier to clean. White oil has a lot more uses than just lubrication. I spray my lugs with it. I spray the inside of my stuffing canisters with it. It makes everything really easy to clean. Now, if you do what I often do, and it's an hour before you can get to cleaning your equipment, you're still gonna have some buildup. But for the most part, most of it will just blow right out, make it a lot easier. So for this major maple, this is a pork butt. I just picked it up in my local supermarket. As I've said ad nauseum, we like pork butts because they have the right fat content. They're also super easy to deal with, and they're not very expensive. When we're boning out a pork butt, this whole section right here contains a bone. This whole section doesn't. So we're gonna separate those two sections and just make it easy to deal with. So the first thing I'm gonna do is locate the end of this bone right here and cut down at an angle on the way back. If I didn't use a pork butt, a pork butter, I don't know what that is. What else could you use pork-wise? You can use a pork trim, works incredibly well, but I'm assuming most people don't have access to pork trim. So pork loin is fairly low in fat, surprisingly. So it doesn't work absolutely great. If you have some pork fat that you can add, then pork loin, tenderloin, all of that will work well. But I mean, picnic shoulder is another one that a lot of people use. But everybody should be able to get their hands on pork butts. The nice thing about pork butts also is they're almost always on sale somewhere. We create a lot of pork in this country. Like a lot. Pork butter sounds delicious, though. No, it actually sounds terrifying. Just so you know how chicken thighs best any other type of meat. So chicken thighs are going to work much better than like chicken breast because of the fat content. It's going to be much higher. I personally would still like to add about an extra 10% of just straight pork fat to anything I'm making out of chicken. But obviously some people have dietary restrictions and they can't do that. So if you can't get your hands on pork fat, or you just don't want to use pork fat, chicken thighs are definitely your best option. I'm gonna the screen just ever so slightly to make it a little bit easier to see. ND Mike says pork butts are the only thing I use, available everywhere. You can stock up. Yep. So ND Mike, I don't know if you listen to the podcast not by now, but I lost my entire deep freeze this week. It was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. But that just allows me to restock. So I'm in search of good deals on pork, beef, and then I'll start refilling up my wild game stores. I lost a full season of upland game hunting. I lost probably about 5 to 6 full bags of crappie. I lost 30 to 40 pounds of ground beef, some ribeyes, a few strip steaks. It was pretty heartening. Yeah, it was terrible. want to buy a lamb. I found a place nearby that sells whole lambs, and I think I want one. So if you're asking if I want to split a lamb with you, I do not. I will, however, help butcher and make anything you want out of lamb. I'm just not a big lamb fat guy. I just don't think it has the taste I'm looking for. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. Patrick, for example, absolutely loves lamb. Okay, I already did plug in the grinder, so I thought I had not done that yet. No, we each get 2, but I don't want 1. Why would I get? No. Be pre-butchered? Nah. So hopefully everybody's in an area of the country with safe weather right now. We've gotten an obscene amount of rain over this weekend. It started Friday night and it has not stopped. My pond is as full as I'm ever going to see it, probably. Because Mac Attack, where is my? I know I have some. There it is. So this is a new Walton seasoning. It's called Major Maple, and my God, does it smell good. It has a very, very strong maple flavor. Let me get some of these things out of the way here. It is a very, very strong maple flavor. Maple is often experienced as a scent more than as a taste. And that comes through here really strong. Pre-butchered. Yeah, no, that makes it even less interesting to me, Allie. I want to butcher it. And a lamb is small enough where that's something we could easily do right here. So you're not selling me. Something I've been doing recently is cutting pork butts into long strings. It's not hard to do, and it makes grinding just a little bit easier. It allows the auger just to grab one piece and pull it down and just keep feeding it. So I do that with the half of the pork butt that doesn't have the bone in it. All right. So we've got 1 pork butt here. We're going to grind this in probably about a minute. This is the one shot, so it's doing both of our grinds in a single pass. And just like usual, I'm not even getting my stomper out because I don't expect to need to use it. I'm just going to let my auger grab the meat. Grab it, feed it right down. Take a small handful left over, pass it back down. That's going to help the auger push all the meat so everything's been ground through. Doug Burke says, I love the flavor of maple, but it seems to get some burn around the edges when I cook it. Yeah, so anything higher in sugar content, that is going to happen. A lot of people would see that as a feature, not a bug, kind of. That nice caramelization that happens. If you're cooking at really high heat for any extended period of time, then yeah, it's going to burn, and that's not what you want. But you want that crispy caramelization. It's just like when you're cooking, if you do barbecue and you're doing anything at high heat, you don't want to add your barbecue sauce until the very end because it will burn and then has a tendency to turn bitter. And so if that's what you're talking about, yeah, you want to avoid that. Because I started this 15 minutes early, I'm running around having to grab extra stuff, so I apologize. My fat sausage fingers did not do a good job hitting the save button on YouTube, and instead I hit the go live button. Or maybe it wasn't even clumsiness, maybe it's just stupidity. Ryan Jones says, why did you schedule this during Band of Brothers Marathon? Yeah. I was talking to my girlfriend's parents today about what they were watching, and you know, Hogan's Heroes, Dirty Dozen, but the one that they haven't seen is Band of Brothers, and I was flabbergasted by that. So I have the DVD box set, and I'm gonna let them borrow it. The one I also always want to watch is Bridge Over the River Kwai. I love that movie. It is one of the all-time underrated war movies, and such a catchy theme to it. The whistling. Love that. All right, so we have 7.44 pounds here. The major maple seasoning is 2.3 pounds for a 25-pound batch. So I'm sure most of you already know this, but how we're going to find the right amount of seasoning to use, we have two options there. When it's up on Waltons.com, we can either just go to the products page and say how much meat we're using, and it will tell us what we need, or if we don't want to do that, we just open our calculator and we take 2.38, we divide that by 25 pounds, that's the batch we're making, or that's the batch it's designed to make is 25 pounds. And that's going to give us 0.095, that's how many pounds of seasoning we need for 1 pound of meat. So we now multiply that by 7.44, and that gives us 0.7 pound, or 0.7 of a pound for this amount of meat. But I want that in ounces, so I'm going to multiply that by 16, and I get 11.2. So I've got our Ascali Precision Digital Scale here, and we're just going to get 11.2 ounces. Which, because this seasoning does have a lot of maple sugar in it, is probably a larger than expected amount. I mean, that's a good amount of seasoning for 7.44 pounds of meat. Take this off, get our scale out of here, and then mix that in. Bring the glove back up. And get to mixing. After we're done with the mixing, I'm going to go grab my 11-pound sausage stuffer. We're going to grab the Walton's Quick Patty Maker, and we're going to use the the sausage slider patty insert for the Quick Patty Maker, and we're going to make nice sized patties for this. And then, Allie, if you would like a breakfast sandwich sausage tomorrow, you may have a major maple, bacon, cheese, and everything bagel breakfast sausage sandwich. I am obviously eating one tonight, and I will be taking one for my breakfast in the morning, even though I don't normally eat breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast sausage guy. I'm not a big breakfast guy at all. I like breakfast foods, but I tend to eat them later in the day. But this major maple may begin to change that. It's my favorite breakfast sausage I've ever had. I've always been a big fan of the Waltons, well, the one we sell, the H110C. But this is well beyond that. This is probably my new favorite breakfast sausage seasoning, and our peppery au jus jerky is absolutely my favorite jerky seasoning now. That stuff is legit. I adore that stuff. So I'm just trying to mix this in, get the seasoning evenly distributed. This pork butt was so wet that I didn't even bother adding any water to help with just mixing in. One thing I do want to avoid is starting to get the meat sticky, so I don't want to mix it too much. So I'm being fairly gentle here. And we are good. So I'm going to go grab the Walton's 11-pound sausage stuffer. After we do that, I will crack a Guldendrach, and we will talk about the amazing flavor in that beater. It is a Belgian. If you like Belgians, you will love this. If you're not a Belgian fan, you will hate that. Don't bother with it. Leave more for me. All right, I'm back. I've got my 11-pound sausage stuffer. We've got our feet on this, so we are going to clamp that down. Going to take out our piston. We're going to sanitize all this, including our quick patty maker and the breakfast insert. Grab this table. Just clean some stuff up. Send it back there. And I will use this nice poly top table. That was white oil. I just sprayed white oil on my breakfast patty insert that I was trying to sanitize. So nothing's gonna stick to that now, I'll tell you that much, because a very little bit of white oil goes a very long way, and I just sprayed a lot of it on this insert. That was well done by me. So here is what I was looking for. This is Maxim Hard Surface Sanitizer, and that's what you should use to sanitize things, not white oil, which does not work. We're going to take the regular patty maker, which comes with it, and just get it out of the way. Doug asks if they don't have a stuffer, get one. Yeah, if anyone doesn't have a sausage stuffer and you're a hunter or somebody who likes to make sausage, anything like that, you can stuff off a grinder. I've done it plenty of times, but it makes a huge difference if you actually have a real dedicated stuffer. They just do a better job. There's no, in my opinion at least, there's no arguing that fact. That's it. And I shouldn't need either my sanitizer or the white oil anymore. Get that out of the way. So obviously Band of Brothers is on. What else are people watching? I've already named Bridge Over the River Kwai, Dirty Dozen. He brought up Band of Brothers. I mean, Flags of Our Fathers, Letters from Iwo Jima, kind of, but not as much. Read a list the other day that tried to put Dr. Strangelove as one of the best war movies of all time, and I strongly disagree with even calling that a war movie. If no one's seen Dr. Strangelove, it's more absurdist comedy than it is a war movie. So the number 5 attachment is what works with the Walton stuffers. They are exactly 2 1/4 inches. So you just attach it to your stuffer like you would a normal stuffing tube. It has a ridge at the bottom here. We slide, where'd you go? I know you're under there. You slide your base on. There's a thumb screw that just attaches there. That prevents this from getting pushed out by the power of the meat when we start cranking it. And we're going to put our insert with the wider side down and the indent facing up. And then reattach other thumb screws. What do we got? And before I was watching the old Tour of Duty show on the Roku channel. I don't think I've seen that. Tour of Duty. Oh, the TV show. Yeah, my dad was obsessed with that show. God, that's right. It was a Vietnam. Yeah, wow. I'd forgotten about that show. Maybe I need to go back and watch that. Yeah. I managed to put the gasket on upside down. So the piston gasket for Walton's 11 power, any of the Walton's 2-speed manual stuffers does have a direction. So you can see it's got this gap right here. That faces down towards the meat. So you want your piston to look like that at the end. You want this side, the thin side, facing up, the gap facing down. All right, Julius says, with the Maxim, just let it air dry. Yes, if you let it sit for 60 seconds, it is a rinse-free sanitizer. So it does not need to be rinsed off. There's other ones you can use. You can dilute down like certain quaternary ammonias to be rinse-free, but biquat, things like that, I'm just not. This is already ready to be used like that, so I just use this. All right, we're gonna load our sausage stuffer here. And like I was saying, this pork butt was so wet that I didn't add any water to this. I've been making a nuisance of myself for a couple of years now, talking about the change in quality of pork butts that seem to be available out there, and an incredibly increased water content in them. They're wetter now. I don't know if it's a difference in slaughtering. I know a lot of places have gone to chambers filled with some sort of gas to slaughter large quantities of hogs at once. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know if they're injecting something into it, but there is no question, at least in my mind, pork butts are way wetter now than they used to be. We're just going to get a couple of sheets of freezer paper because it's got that nice lining that will prevent a bunch of things from sticking to each other. Gloves back up. We'll start cranking down. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go start my Camp Chef gridiron griddle so it's nice and hot. I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that. When you have these Camp Chef or any rolled steel griddle, you don't want to start it out at the highest heat you run the risk of warping your griddle top if you do that. So I was just making sure that I had everything turned on medium high instead of high. Rascal says I agree with that. They're also leaner, and the cryovac seems to produce a tougher texture. That's been in my mind also. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And I think the biggest change in the pork industry recently has been slaughtering practices. But maybe something changed and they are allowing them to inject them with some sort of pork broth. That's a possibility too. I don't know. Hi to Zara. I don't know if... Oh, Kurdistan. Yeah, sure. We will have a full how-to on making these patties coming out in here just a couple of days. We just did rustic French onion, which is one of our new ones, Mac Attack brat, and peppery au jus jerky. Then last week we filmed Mac Attack brat and Champions. Oh, I'm sorry, Major Maple breakfast sausage and Champion bratwurst. All right, so I've got 2 speeds on this stuffer. There's 2 gears back here. The lower one, which is what I'm on right now, is what we use for stuffing. The top one, only use, is for backing out the piston when it's already all the way at the bottom. So all I'm doing is stuffing here until this cavity fills up, and I'll adjust this camera here in just a bit so you guys can get a little better image of what this looks like. So I'm just filling it, filling the cavity, and then I pull it, and I've got perfectly formed breakfast patties in just a few seconds here. Let me grab this camera, try and move it around so you guys can get a better look at this. I've already broken this tripod once. I'm gonna try not to do that again. All right, so cavity right here. Just a quick little turn of that. I pull it and it falls right out. And we've got a perfectly formed breakfast sausage patty. And then we just keep going the entire way. Sometimes you need to give it just a little push from the top to get it to release. Other times it falls right out like that. And we're just going to continue this the entire way down. Yeah, the Major Maple is absolutely a delicious addition to our breakfast sausage offerings. My other favorites are H110C. Obviously, Holly is our best-selling breakfast sausage seasoning, and for good reason. It is the classic breakfast sausage flavor, but I like something a little bit different, something with a little bit more pop to it. That H110C has got some nice red pepper in it that I think just makes a breakfast sausage a little bit tastier. So where did he say that is? Kurdistan? That's Eastern European? I'm asking, not telling. Puerto Rico too. We're super international. Yep, 147 and 1504 are both really good too. They need better names. Allie and I were just talking about this on one of the seasons. We're like, no, we need to call it something better than that. The problem is that bag has that name on it and has always had it on it. So, you know, it kind of needs to be what you guys are expecting it to be when you get there. I imagine it would cause some confusion if we called something ultra good sausage and you got a bag that said 1504 sausage. Virgin Islands too? Good Lord. We are definitely all over the globe tonight. So if I understuff it too much, I'll show you what happens. Like if I say I stop right there, once I push this, it's going to deform. And it's going to create this little half patty thing. So we just want to make sure that we're filling it but not overfilling it. I'll show you what happens here in a couple of more patties if we overfill it. Because if we overfill it, we cause other problems. It's not hard to get a hang of once you figure out what the right amount to add to each cavity is. And the real advantage to this is you're going to have all your patties the exact same size. Same thing for the regular patty maker. It's just a lot easier to cook if you don't have to worry about different thicknesses. For Friday here at work, we did a nice company party, and I actually made and cooked like 150, 140 something full-size patties. And I did the Walton's Quick Patty Maker, and then I cooked them on 2 different griddles that I had going out there. Sorry for my bad English, but what is the measure of this patty? 2.5 inches in diameter. All right, so I'm going to overfill this one, and hopefully you can see what it's going to do. So there is full. If I do that, right, I've created a whole host of problems as I start coming back and forth. It's going to start deforming the patty because all this stuff is grabbing this meat as it tries to go through. So I now have these weird Frankenstein-sized patties, and they just don't work as well. You'll also hear it if you do it. It'll push this plexiglass up just a little bit, and that is not good for it long term. So I think we've got probably 2 more patties, maybe 3 to make. And then we will move everything out to the griddle and we'll get to cooking. And I can eat a delicious breakfast sandwich tonight and tomorrow. All right. So in just a couple of minutes there, we made all of those. We made all of those, and we did all of that from a single pork butt and just 11 ounces of that seasoning. Now out to here. This is our kind of outdoor grilling area. We're gonna make some adjustments to it because we're realizing that in Kansas we have a ridiculous amount of wind, and we need a windbreak both to stop the wind from stealing all of our heat off our griddle and causing problems with the burners. Julian asks, what is it, about 3 ounces? I will go weigh one. I will be right back. Now, Julius, it's Julius, not Julian, right? Yeah, Julius, that's going to change depending on our fat content and what protein we're using, obviously. But for pork butts, I'll get you an answer on that. I'll be right back. So for these patties, Julius, that is 2.5. That is a 2.5 ounce patty. And I better move this other camp chef out just a bit. I'm trying to position this so you guys can see all of this and the chat doesn't get in the way. You know, like where the chat shows up doesn't get in the way. So we're going to turn these to just underneath, in between medium high and high. I'm going to throw a little bit of beef tallow on this. Then we're going to throw our patties on, then some bacon. Then I'm going to do just a little bit of eggs. And we're going to finish up by throwing our everything bagels on there. Put a baster over them, put some cheese on them, get them nice and melty, and they should be absolutely delicious. Nice thing about this model is it comes with the stand, which gives us some good prep areas on the side. I'm also going to roll out a table here to make it a little bit easier. All right. Now these patties are going to take the longest to cook because they're the thickest things I have out here. So they're going to go on first. Last thing we have to do, throw just a little bit of tallow on there, which is just a touch we do. It's not absolutely necessary to do all the time. We're going to throw some beef tallow that we made out of a beef that a couple of us split here. And then we're cooking. And I promise that's the last time I'll leave chat. I'm probably lying though. So this creamy, well, it's actually kind of hard, but this white goodness is what we call beef tallow. This is gold. It's absolutely great for cooking. You're a rookie in sausage. I like that. I made her grandparents. What is that? Longanese. Yeah, we used to sell a Longanese seasoning. I liked Longanese. Very, very tasty sausage. Portuguese, yes? Longanese is Portuguese? So we're just going to take a nice dollop of this. And this you get just by taking like kidney fat from a beef and just melting it again and again and again. We did it with 2 pots, one inside the other. And you're going to see this is nice and hot. So we're going to get some good white smoke out of this, which is what we're wanting off this griddle. And again, I don't know what's better, this which is rolled steel versus a Pit Boss, which is that enamel, versus I think the Blackstones, I believe, are mostly at least cast iron. I realized this wasn't cast iron when I was putting it together, and I could lift this whole thing up by myself. I'm not that strong. But it holds heat really nice. It's a good, even heat. And the fact that it's so light is an extra bonus. All right, so here we go. Throwing. We should get a nice sizzle from these. They should crisp up really well. Hopefully you guys can hear that. With these griddles, one mistake a lot of people make, and I definitely did it more than once or twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is overloading it. You want to put a decent amount on here, but you don't want to just crowd the entire thing. It will suck out a lot of the heat. So as those cook, I'm going to get my bacon ready, but most importantly, it is time to get into this Gulden drop. Now normally I would drink it out of a glass, but I don't have that. I don't have a bottle opener. Luckily we don't need that spoon again, but what I'm going to do is get the bottom of my spoon handle underneath that and pop it right out. Look at all that delicious foam coming right out. Oh, so good. And this isn't just my opinion. I believe it should be everybody's. Belgians are best enjoyed somewhere around 70 degrees, 60 to 70 degrees. They really open up the flavor. If you're drinking an ice cold Belgian, you're not tasting everything in there. So this is just some Hormel thick cut bacon. Nothing super fancy, but man, bacon is expensive nowadays. I think this was $7.99 a pound. And at this point, I've been cooking on a griddle so much, the spinning up of all the tallow and grease once it's cooked a bunch of stuff no longer bothers me at all. First few times I was a huge baby about it. Ow, it hurts! Alright, so we're letting that cook. Well, no, there's nothing like a nice, warm, good beer. A cheap beer, that'd be no good. But a nice, warm, good beer, delicious. So we're going to flip these. We're going to let those cook just a couple of minutes, maybe a minute on that heat setting, and then I'm going to turn this side of the griddle down just a bit. I'm going to go put these in the fridge. I'll be right back. And then when everything's almost done, I'll crack a few eggs. Those are perfectly cooked patties. That is exactly how I want my sausage patties. And in a minute or two, we'll crack a few eggs over there. And I'm going to go grab just a few plates. I apologize that I'm making people hungry. That is a danger of watching some of these things. Now, try imagine working here and doing this stuff. There's a reason I don't look the same as I used to. I have put on a good 30 pounds in the last 2 years. Just because of what we've been making here and how I don't have the control to not eat all of it. I grind beef brisket at home and use the extra fat for tallow, absolutely. There's a little bit of a difference apparently between things like brisket fat and kidney fat from a beef. Usually that's only something that matters if you're talking about using the beef tallow for skincare products, and some of this we wanted to use for that. So Allie made some creams and moisturizers, which are absolutely amazing, out of the beef tallow that we did. So we used all of kidney fat. All right, back one more time. Now, because I use bagels, or I'm using bagels and not English muffins, I am going to squeeze these down just a little bit, not terribly, just a little bit to make them cover more of that bagel. They also will cook a little bit faster this way. And then I've got this baster for the very, very end. All right, so what did Tex say that's dirty? At least you don't have beef. Oh, jeez, that hurt. That actually hurt. That was mean, Tex. You and I usually trade barbs. We don't try and make each other cry. You want to bring up my dead dad or my ex-wife? Huh? For anyone who doesn't know, Tex and I are very good friends. Ugh. All right. Checking the bacon. Getting nice and crispy. We don't want it chewy for this at all. We also don't want it too brittle. So we're about done over here. Let that rest on the board for a couple of minutes while I crack a few eggs. But I did not bring anything to throw the shells out into. So I lied to you again. I'll be back after I get a trash can. For anyone who does processing or has a garage that they do a lot of stuff in, this is called a Longo Pack. That is a trash system that is absolutely amazing. It's infinite bags, basically. All the bag is stored up there. It's all one bag. You can just keep pulling it down and then make whatever size bags you want. All right. Couple of eggs. And we don't have the little egg makers, so these are going to be kind of the size they are, and then I'll just fold the whites over themselves a little bit. For anyone who's looking for something cool to make on their griddle at home, I made scrambled eggs on here the other day that I used a little bit of, what is it? Sesame seed oil, just a touch of soy sauce for a little bit of salt, and they were absolutely delicious. All right. Our patties are nice and cooked. We're going to turn this down even lower. Our bacon back on over here. Then all we've got left is to get a couple of these bagels on there, get some cheese, put them all together, and then they go under that baster. That's just to help keep heat in. They'll make everything nice and melty gooey. And then I'm going to wrap a few of them in butcher paper for a few people here to enjoy tomorrow. And those eggs probably needed to be flipped a while ago, but that'll be all right. The Blackstone is great for grilled cheese. I was thinking about making, on my Thursday live stream from my house, Reubens on my griddle, which is a Pit Boss. Has anyone made Reubens on a griddle before? Also, I won a grilled cheese competition. I outcooked your brother, Ali. That was a long time ago, but I would still beat him at grilled cheese. He has weird ideas about cheese. I feel like I missed something, but it was Ryan Jones again. Wouldn't have been better smash the patties at the beginning? Sure, yes, but they don't necessarily need it. Everything is perfectly fine. All right, time to start assembling. We're gonna have a nice little bit of runny yolk here. I like that. I have some Frank's Red Hot inside. That is going to be delicious. We're just gonna quickly get a little bit of beef tallow on these. Let them get a fast crisp up. All right. We're gonna go sausage, then bacon, then egg, then cheese, and put them under the baster one at a time. Sausage, bacon, we're gonna rip in half, put one of those eggs on there. Nice piece of American cheese because it melts so well. I don't even know if American cheese is technically cheese or if it's one of those cheese-like product things. I have a feeling it might be a cheese-like product. Sausage, bacon, cut in half. That is super hot still. Egg. Piece of cheese. Pop it. And get those sitting under that just so we keep all that nice heat in there. While those are going, I'm going to get a couple more face down to crisp up. Here's the other one. There we go. Patty, bacon, pork fat burns so good on your hands. Egg, cheese, top it, put this on back here. We'll take these with our gorgeous, starting to get gooey melted cheese. I guess I didn't cook it enough bacon pieces for all of this. Not getting bacon on theirs, but it ain't gonna be me. Yep, egg. There, we got two more to make. I guess both of these can have a half a piece of bacon. We'll try and spread it out so nobody gets completely gypped. Everything off. Propane off. I'm not going to be the one that burns down the brand new Waltons. I mean, at least not tonight. Let's be honest. If someone's going to do it, it's probably going to be me. But Hopefully it's not. I'll give those just the middle, and I will check back in on chat. I apologize, guys. I was trying to put all of those together. Where can I find your recipes? So you can find almost everything we've done at meatgistics.com. Our Waltons YouTube channel also has a bunch of how-tos on it. If you go to waltons.com, we also have links to like everything that we do seasoning wise from there, to a video, to a recipe, anything like that. Ryan is continuing to be mean, but I don't know why we'd be surprised by that. If I lived in Nebraska, I'd be miserable too. Andy Mike says, same cheese I use for breakfast, Sam. Yeah, it's just, nothing melts like it. There's not another, well, there are other cheeses. No common cheese melts as well as it. Andre Patterson says, what is the name of your favorite jerky seasoning? It's called peppery au jus jerky. And it does an unbelievable job. Like, that name is perfect for it. It's got just a little hint of pepper. It's not very peppery. But it tastes like a French dip sandwich jerky. It's incredible. Whoever named that one, and it wasn't me, deserves a raise. Or maybe it was me, Allie, if you're still watching. Maybe I did name that one. So, I've got 6 delicious, perfect, except for that one, because that means that one of my breakfast sandwiches here has 2 bottoms, and one of them has 2 tops, which we shouldn't be too surprised. Once you throw too many variables at me, it's out the window. Can't track that many things. We're gonna take a bite here. Oh, good news! I found the one with 2 tops. And it's the one I'm going to eat. What a huge surprise. I love a good breakfast sausage sandwich. And personally, I think everything bagel is the way to go. English muffin, absolutely great. But everything bagel has just that little extra to it. Oh, so this is dining cuisine, so it's a little different. Oh, God, yeah, I have my Frank's Red Hot in there. I'll be right back. So I am not a Tabasco guy. I'm also not a Cholula guy. I am a Frank's Red Hot guy. This is one non-Waltons thing that you will find in my fridge at all times. That adds just a little bit. Now, I'm sorry, guys. We might be losing internet connection. It happened. We're working on that. All right, so I've got a good amount of cleaning up to do, but I also have 6 breakfast sausage sandwiches that I can give out tomorrow to people I like more than others. So if you work at Waltons and you don't get a breakfast sandwich from me tomorrow, just realize you're not one of my top 4 favorite people here, because I'm eating one now, then I'm going to eat one in the morning, then I'm going to give out 4 to some of my favorite people here. If you don't get one, you didn't make the list. Thanks, guys. We will be back on Thursday. Like I said, I think I'm going to do Reuben's from my house. And then we have a live stream on Friday. It's the Waltons monthly live stream. That'll be Austin and I from here doing giveaways. We're going to announce winners, announce sales. So it'll be a big to-do. That's going to be 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So hopefully you all can join us. If not, they're available online to watch later. We'll see you guys.